G'day, welcome back to my latest game of Rogue Tower, where I've gone crazy with haunted houses. So obviously at the end here of level 25, so we've just gotten rid of our zombie Oogie. We are going to go for sorcery, obviously, because we are currently losing mana, courtesy of all the... lost the ability to drag the map. There we go. Courtesy of all the houses that I've built. So I don't even remember how many that I had placed down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So there's 23 down there. I'm pretty sure there's 20, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. So about 42. So you can see my mana has taken a major hit here. So what we need to do is just to make sure that we've got mana banks aplenty. So it's that bottom line there is going to be pretty important here too, because we're taking huge chunks away, we're putting huge chunks back in. So if I've got 42, then I need about 4,200 gold for them to break even. So we want to see how much we can make that income share get up. I am going to keep building houses. Anytime there is an available gravestone, I will keep doing more. But I do also need to have a town that can survive on the on the towers that I'm building. There's no point in just investing money in all those haunted houses if I'm just going to collapse because the tower system isn't getting money spent on it. What I really need, though, and I did say this in the previous one, is I need these guys to start getting some benefits. They currently have no damage over times. And that is certainly going to become a problem the longer that goes on for. The other thing that I have done in this one, which I did talk about in the previous video, is I'm trying to stagger how long it takes for people to come from their entrance to here. So you can see guys from there are going to reach here much earlier than those guys, than these guys. These two are the same, then that guy, sorry, and then those two are the same. So I just wanted to stretch this guy out a little bit more, so he's further away from that. And then we need to stretch these guys out a little bit further too. Also being this far away for these three, the speed, we'll take more mana. The speed difference between guys is actually also going to make a big impact. So the guys that are really fast, you'll see come tearing away from the guys that are really slow, and that splits them up even more, which is good. There's a lot of things, like, my biggest problem at the moment, I feel, is that my ballistas just haven't gained many base perks, and because I've got so many ballistas, even though these guys are doing great damage for their cost, they could be doing so much more. I need them to be putting, like, being the front line guys, I need them to be doing the damage over time stuff. Because there's so many of them, every time we do a sort of a 1 health bonus or whatever, that's going to be a huge... The amount of towers that are going to benefit from that is big. Get another guy in there. Is that a slight hill there too? Yeah, we'll put one there too. These guys will just stay as progress because they can hit so much far back in here. We want them focusing on the progress, the guys most far forward rather than the healthiest guys. That's the job of these ones. If I could get a little bit more range, I would take advantage of this hill here a lot more. Alright, so we can see that we are getting even more money here. So let's spend some mana banks, and then let's spend that on even more haunted houses. Because we don't know when to quit. Basically, I want to see how much money we can pull from, like, can we make an insane amount of our money from this? Obviously, one of the big things will be that we've got to make sure we're counterbalancing this with a bleeding enemies. So I feel like at this point it's almost anything ballista is going to be what I need to take. You can see each of these guys, depending on what they've been doing. Part of it can even just sort of be like an investment that the that I'm spending 100 gold now, and then obviously over time they're going to get, I'm going to make my money's worth. So you can see, say, net tax collected for that guy's 107, 107. So the original guys that have gone in, some of these guys lose their graves. Strange. Or did I just accidentally misclick, guys? Who knows? But the idea now is just that we're just trying to get big income. That now that we've got, say, as many of those guys placed as really we should, I won't use that one actually because that's probably a pretty good ballista spot. What we can now do is we have this huge money that we're going to get from those investments that we can now spend on just upgrading towers. I do feel like it could be... I mean, you can see how well that little kill corner's working at the moment. But they're doing a great job. I'm not even quite sure who to spend the money on. Could be this line of ballistas here. Although we do want... Like if I'm going to spend at the end of each week, that money is going to go to, or like those upgrades, I want to focus on ballistas. It sort of means that all the ballistas are going to be upgrading on a weekly basis. That probably what I should then consider is going for like doing single focus upgrades on single towers that are important. So say like this guy or any of the guys in that little huddle. So these guys here, I'm going to focus on doing the shield and the health as well, because I want them... the expectation is that the guys across the road from them here are going to be like sort of AoE chipping guys down, and they want to be taking down the biggest guys that are still standing as they move through that. Let's go for... We'll go for that. So that's our sort of still expanding on the ballistas as a whole unit. Now this keeps splitting more and more up here. You can see we've got that death tax up to 11% of our share. I feel I want something on this corner. I might go for a Tesla coil. Just because they've got all the sort of AoEs. So let's get his armor multiplier up to the rest of them. Nice work this line of guys is doing. Because obviously they're focus firing down the front guy. Make him clean 15s across the board. Mana bank's looking quite good too. It does dip. I mean, it doesn't dip below 800, and it's such a quick recovery that it's probably not anything we really need to do with it. This Shredder here is doing great work too. And then he's backed up by another Shredder behind him. These Shredders, I mean, I'm almost curious to see what it would be like if you try and use them in a much higher commodity, because they are just doing great damage for their for the amount of them that there are. Maybe we'll give this guy a little bit of a boost too. I guess our focus is this corner here. I'm trying to have these guys really finish them off. There's those guys that you do see come that like will spawn someone else in front of them. And I think that these guys here, if these can take out the majority of guys, and then the rest of all that extra spawn or whatever is left to all of this, then we should be looking alright. I think I've said it before too, but I should really put an encampment on this corner. It's at a +1. Let's go 3, 2, 1 there. List of slow enemies. We'll take that. Let's expand one of them out. Get these three guys to sort of split their focuses. And what we might do is we might add an extra square here just to push these guys back a tiny little bit. Oh, they probably don't need it. They seem to die nice and easily. But I mean, these guys could hit them if they started back there, but there is, I guess, the risk that they would actually fork if we put one there, and then we'd get twice as many guys coming through. But with how few guys it sort of is at the moment, we can clean them up before anyone else gets even close. Get an encampment down on this corner too. And actually, because of how successful they are, we'll give them a Shredder on the other side. These guys here, these are the ones that sort of shoot off rocket guys. So we're really keeping an eye on how fast we can work through them, because they're going to be... they're generally pretty painful for me, I find. Guy's still sitting across the board 15s. He hasn't gained anything since that the money spent on him. That percentage is going up though. So let's build a few more if we can fit them in. Probably put in some mines too. Once we've got the, I guess once the wave ends and we get all the money at the start of the next wave. So look into that. A few, like a couple of them around that we may as well take advantage of. There does come a time where a few guys will start to chip through. Got damage to shields. I don't know if there's any more than just those two. A few over here. And then just that one there that we can't do anything with. 26 health is definitely a nice little boost there. Yeah, doing some nice work chipping away at these guys. And the mortars are still coming through. Now the shredder's obviously dipping down a bit because I'm spending money on this one guy. Which is funny because it means that the shredders are probably doing more damage. Let's see there. We compare that to, say, the Tesla coil. You can see that this guy's huge. Does almost make me wonder if the Tesla coils are worth it. I mean, in this case, they're the ones only doing that extra sort of chip away, but yeah, I don't know. It is the speed of the music doesn't necessarily match the pace of these guys. Dun, 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 dun. So we can fit a few more siphons in here too. Level 12, 14, and they're doing that on their own. It's really good. I haven't really considered too much about like whether these guys can just clip through each other. I don't think that they, like, say for example, if this guy was shooting over here, he's not going to consider himself blocked by that hill. I don't think that that's a problem in this. With that in mind, I should really build a second row of ballistas. There we go. Ballistas can finally do some poison, some damage over time going for them. So what I think I should do with my new money is just get another wall of ballistas there. I think that point there is a really good strategic point. These guys are all focused on progress as opposed to these guys. So these guys are just going to shoot at whoever the first guy is in line. But what it means is that they will then turn around and, as opposed to continuing to fire at guys that are coming through here that are healthier than anyone passing this side, they're actually going to turn around and focus on these. The biggest problem I always consider that I have with towers like these guys back here is he's still level 2 because he doesn't have to shoot anyone. The only time he's actually going to be engaged is in an emergency where someone has broken all the way through to the back. Whereas these guys here get to fire constantly into the battle, and then they're also going to be near the last line of defense. And there's so many of them that they can do some real nice work. They're slowing guys down. They're now doing some poison to them. Hopefully see those poison numbers build up really well. We'll just keep working on the variety of guys on this corner, getting them up. Like I said, I feel for these guys that my ballistas are going to now be my preference on what I'm giving each level upgrade to. I should really consider upgrading all the encampment guys back here now too, because they're really only going to be break glass in case of emergency with how this is working at the moment. There's really nice work going on here, though. Very happy with this so far. That money percentage is still going up. So as long as if I've got 87 or less houses, which may not be the case, I will have turned a profit on that. I'm not sure I have yet. Poison damage, shield damage. Keep going with our poison. Prices efficiently would be nice too, but we really want our damage over time functioning. Now what I'm going to do too... Oh, I was going to say I could put a Frostkeep in here to slow these guys down as they pass this corner. It's actually probably not a bad idea. I was going to say all these guys do slowing damage anyway, but it means that all of them are going to spend more time in front of this huge barrage, not just the guys that at the front. But I mean, you can see sort of everyone's taking focus, but it's alright, we'll make sure they've got plenty of attention. Certainly got the mana for it. So we're now 2 waves away from the next Oogie. Feeling really good about how we're handling these wood guys. Look wooden to me. Alright, spend some money. I hope the poison's really picking on these guys. You can see they're 1,000. Still not quite sure how that operates, if that's saying that there's 1,000 total damage still to be done on that guy, or this tick is going to be 1,000 damage, the next one's going to be 900, the next one's going to be so on. But I have no idea what sort of health amounts these guys have. Like when this says that it's doing 180 damage, it's like, well, I don't know how much health this guy's got, so 180 could be good. May not be. I can't really see that there's much point in trying to level up the slow towers. Damage is not the point of them. Technically, we could actually build ballistas all the way up here, because this and that are just the 2 front splits. There's nothing... They would actually get to shoot at absolutely everyone that passes by. Slow enemies additionally? Sure. I'm getting bummed out by how long it's taking guys to come from the back here. Let's get... We'll go 2 guys in there, and we will give them the... These will be most significant based. I mean, they will start to have... They will get to put poison on guys, which is a good thing. Shredder's recovering nicely there. See, its damage is still rocketing up. Mortar's still doing a fantastic job. Flamethrowers are actually the worst. I mean, I suppose that there's only this one flamethrower that's getting to participate, though. And even then, a lot of guys are already dead before they get too close to him. A little bit of a interesting that this guy was still all 15s. I don't know if that just means that guys aren't even getting to him. That I'm better off just focusing on this one shredder. Really, yeah, level 14 sort of range that most of these guys seem to have gotten themselves to. If we can increase their range, still, that's the one I'm holding out for. I'm trying not to waste too much time between weeks, though. So if I'm overlooking anything that comes up there, that's why. Because I'm just sort of doing a quick glance. Although, no, it's probably not the most compelling viewing, watching me just sit there reading. Yeah, we could probably work this corner a bit more too. See armor. We'll go for the efficiency. Where's Oogie coming from? Oh, there we go, all the way at the back. So, good one to allow a lot of the faster guys to just sort of clear themselves out before we have to focus on him. You can see the guys coming from this route do have a much better chance than anyone else of actually working their way through this. I mean, they are solo focused on, though. There's not that many of them, and all these mortars and everything are going at them. They're just getting to avoid this wall of ballistas. But these guys here that actually have to face them head on. Trying to see what those poison numbers are. Yeah, you can see over 1,000. They're ticking away nicely. Probably also just utilize this empty zone here with more of them. Yeah, this is the guy that I'm banking on. I really taking names. It is great. Every single guy we see come onto the map is another guy that's not going to be in the way when Robo Oogie gets to us. You can see a lot of them are going to be dead, hopefully by the time he becomes our focus. Which means that a lot of them won't even be able to sneak through because these guys are focusing on the healthiest or whatever. All these guys are going to focus on the most far forward. And that guy's slowly increasing the gap to Oogie. And just see these guys, how much they're getting wailed on. It's a thing of beauty. And the fact that you can see that there's a mine sitting here that no one's even getting to at the moment. You can see the poison levels that he's already at. He's over 3, almost 4,000 there, 4,000. Yeah, absolutely taking names up there. Let's see this poison go up. The guy behind him is going to fall over before he really gets there. 14,000. He's still moving pretty well for a guy with that much poison on him. He does have to face all of this bombardment, though. Just he spawns the guys and they're gone. See you later. Beautiful. Yeah, we'll do that. Let's see where this ends up. Eventually this is going to cut this one off somewhere, so that will at least end somewhere. %19. Alright, so let's start spending money on these guys. The fact that I accidentally upped that to 20 is gonna 21 is gonna bother me, so let's make him a clean 25. We'll get him to 25, then him to 25, then him to 25, then him to 25, and then we'll work back and do those two as well, just so that all of them are really hard hitters. Now, generally, I think level 40 is where we're sort of considered the dreaded level 40. So that's now what we've got to see. This will be my first time of passing that point. There's a lot of guys that are making it to our kill zone now. Hopefully we can see our kill zone sort of do its thing, and it's looking very good at the moment. I mean, all of these guys, you can see, have got a fair bit of poison on them at least. That they're making it through, but they are still being impacted by it. And they're going to have to see this again if they make it all the way to here. So they're certainly not out of the woods. Now these are the very strong landmines at this stage. So barely anyone got to them. Poison damage. Yeah, I suppose we go for the things that we can't just sort of generate ourselves. Oh, there we go. It's one portal. Almost a shame if we'd been able to get that all the way up here. Alright, so here's our 25, so this is our second one. Now, this is probably a decent argument to expand this out a little bit. Like, those guys... Nah, I mean, they're still never making that far. You can see that they would die at a point where this guy can then just easily rebuild his mines by the time that anyone else shows up. Oh, sorry, those last extra sort of zoom-ins can really swing in quick. You can see that guy there's 3,000 poison going on him. If we can get more poisons and fires and everything on these, look out. That's the big thing that we want our fingers crossed for by where as we're heading in. But it is a few guys that are getting here. Definitely a lot more than there were pre-35. Maybe I should try and give him a little bit more of a boost too. Although, like I said, I'm not sure how much damage he's actually doing here. And this can also just be that I don't have enough shield defense, because you can see that's what a lot of these guys have. These rockets are going off and taking out a lot of those mines. Now what we'll do here is I will call this one as the last wave of this video. These waves are taking a little bit longer than they have in previous ones, just because of how long I'm making guys march before they face consequences. Yeah, thanks for watching. If there's any questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below. And until next time, catch you later. See ya.